We weren't rolling, as they say.
Oh. Shabbat Shalom, and welcome to everybody who's with us virtually. We have a lovely little group here in our sanctuary, and I'm so happy to be here with Cantor Gabrielle and Evan on piano. Just a thought about where we are right now in the time of season. One of the ways that we look at the Aseret Yemei Teshuvah is like almost the two parts of a wedding ceremony, where there's sort of the engagement, and then on Yom Kippur we actually solidify our vows with God. We're all wearing white. Everybody's ready for that moment. And what Sukkot is, we have a minute to rest, we build our sukkah, and that's our week of Sheva Brachot. That's our week of eating and drinking and festivities, in deep closeness with God out in nature, where God's presence is with us all the time. We're not covered by a hard roof, it's an open roof. And so we're in this sort of glow, this afterglow of the renewal of our vows with Adonai. And it sort of feels that way. It's a happy time. The intensity of Sukkot hasn't started yet, and we're just sort of getting ready. It's sort of right before the wedding, right before or getting ready to go on your honeymoon, basically we're saying. Yeah. Oh, I never heard that. That's so cute. Anyway, I hope you all had a wonderful Yom Kippur. We did at the Jewish Collaborative. It was very lifting, much probably smaller than yours. But anyway, so I heard you did a wonderful job, and I'm so proud of you.
Thank you.
And our service this morning begins on page 186 as we thank God for restoring our souls to us today.
מודה אני לפניך, רוח חי וקיים, שחזרת בי נשמתי בחמלה. מודה אני לפניך, רוח חי וקיים, שחזרת בי נשמתי בחמלה. רבה אמונתך, רבה אמונתך, רבה אמונתך, רבה אמונתך. מודה אני לפניך, רוח חי וקיים, שחזרת בי נשמתי בחמלה. מודה אני לפניך, רוח חי וקיים, שחזרת בי נשמתי בחמלה. רבה אמונתך, רבה אמונתך, רבה אמונתך, רבה אמונתך.
That is so pretty. I always learn all these new melodies when I come. It's so gorgeous. We continue on page 192 with Ma Tovu. Oh, me. All right. Please join me. I don't know if you know this melody. I hope so. Ma Tovu, Ohalecha Yaakov, Ohalecha Yaakov, Mishkenotecha Yisrael. Ma Tovu, Ohalecha Yaakov, Ohalecha Yaakov, Mishkenotecha Yisrael. Vani bi berov chastecha havo beitecha echtachaveh el heichal kodshecha beyiratecha. Ma tovu ohalecha Yaakov, ohalecha Yaakov, mishkenotecha Yisrael. Ma tovu ohalecha Yaakov, ohalecha Yaakov, mishkenotecha Yisrael. May the one whose spirit is with us in every righteous deed be with all who work for the good of humanity and bear the burdens of others, and who give bread to the hungry and clothe the naked, and take the friendless into their home. May the work of their hands endure, and may the seed they sow bring abundant harvest. We continue on page 194. We read this bracha together in Hebrew. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher yatzar et hadam bechokmah, uvaravo nekavim nekavim, chalulim chalulim, galui v'yadua lifnei chisei chavodecha, she'im yipateach echad mehem, o yisatem echad mehem, אי-אפשר להתקיים ולעמוד לפניך. ברוך אתה אדוני, רופא כל בשר ומפליא לעשות. Page 196, Elohai Neshama.
Elohai Neshama שנתת בי טהורה היא. אלוהי נשמה שנתת בי טהורה היא. אלוהי נשמה שנתת בי טהורה היא. טהורה היא. אלוהי נשמה שנתת בי טהורה היא. אלוהי נשמה שנתת בי טהורה היא. אלוהי נשמה שנתת בי טהורה היא. טהורה היא.
I offer thanks to you, Adonai my God, and God of my ancestors, source of all creation, sovereign of all souls. Praised are you, Adonai, in whose hand is every living soul and the breath of humankind. Baruch atah Adonai, asher beyado nefesh kol chai veruach kol basar ish.
We continue with Birchot HaShachar, Nisim B'chol Yom on page 198.
Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, who has given the mind the ability to distinguish day from night.
Amen. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, pokeach ivrim.
Amen. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, who frees the captive.
Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, zokef kifufim.
Amen. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, who stretches the earth over the waters.
Amen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, who strengthens our steps.
Amen. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, who clothes the naked.
Amen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, hanoten li'ayef koach.
Amen. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, who removes sleep from the eyes, slumber from the eyelids.
Amen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, she'asani b'tselem Elohim.
Amen. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, who has given me free will.
Amen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, she'asani Yisrael.
Amen. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, who girds Yisrael with strength.
Amen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, oter Yisrael b'tifarah.
Amen. We continue on page 204 for the blessing for the study of Torah. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav, v'tzivanu la'asok b'divrei Torah. O Adonai our God, let the words of Torah be sweet in our mouths and the mouths of your people Israel, so that we, our descendants, and the descendants of all your people Israel may know you, by studying your Torah for its own sake. Blessed are you, Adonai, who teaches Torah to your people Israel. Baruch atah Adonai, hamelamed Torah le'amo Yisrael.
Beautiful.
And we continue in English on the bottom of page 206.
These are the things that are limitless, of which a person enjoys the fruit of the world, while the principle remains in the world to come. They are honoring one's parents, engaging in deeds of compassion, arriving early for study, morning and evening, dealing graciously with guests, visiting the sick, providing for the wedding couple, accompanying the dead for burial, being devoted in prayer, and making peace among people. But the study of Torah encompasses them all. We continue with Baruch She'amar on page 212.
Baruch She'amar v'chaya haolam, Baruch Hu, Baruch Shemo, Baruch Oseh Bereshit, Baruch Omer ve'oseh, Baruch Gozer u'mekayem, Baruch merachem al ha'aretz, Baruch merachem al ha'briot, Baruch meshalem sachar tov re'av, Baruch la'ad v'kayam lanetzach, Baruch podeh u'matzil, Baruch Hu, Baruch Shemo. With songs of praise we extol you and proclaim your sovereignty, for you are the source of life in the universe. One God, life of the universe, praised and glorious ruler, your name is eternal. Melech mehula bat tishbachot, Melech mehula bat tishbachot, Baruch atah Adonai, Melech mehula bat tishbachot.
Alrighty then. So we are on page 214. This is Psalm 92, the Psalm for Shabbat.
Mizmor, mizmor, shir, shir leyom ha-Shabbat. 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 Mizmor, shir, shir leyom ha-Shabbat. Mizmor, shir, shir leyom ha-Shabbat. Mizmor, mizmor, shir, shir leyom ha-Shabbat. Mizmor, mizmor, shir, shir leyom ha-Shabbat. Mizmor, shir, shir leyom ha-Shabbat. Mizmor, shir, shir leyom ha-Shabbat.
The righteous bloom like a date palm. They thrive like a cedar in Lebanon. Planted in the house of Adonai, they flourish in the courts of our God. In old age, they still produce fruit. They are full of sap and freshness, attesting that Adonai is upright, my rock in whom there is no wrong. Lehagid ki yashar Adonai tzuri v'lo avlat bo. We continue with Ashrei on page 215.
Ashrei Yoshvei Bitecha, Od Yehalelucha Selah. Ashrei Yoshvei Bitecha, Od Yehalelucha Selah. Ashrei, Ashrei יהללוך סלע, אשרי יושבי ביתך, עוד יהללוך סלע. אשרי יושבי ביתך, עוד יהללוך סלע. אשרי יושבי ביתך, עוד יהללו חסלה.
Ashram Shekach Elo Ashram Shadonai Elohav. Tehilat LeDavid. Do we do this antiphonally?
Yeah.
Okay.
You want me to start?
Sure. I'm not sure what melody you do here.
תהילה לדוד, ארומים חלהי המלך, ואברך שמך לעולם ועד.
בכל יום אברכך, והללשים לעולם. Now me.
גדול אדוני ומהולל
מאוד, ולגדולתו אין חקר.
דור לדור ישבח מעשיך, וגבורותיך יגידו.
הדר כבוד הודיך, ודברי נפלאותיך עשיך.
ועזוז נורותיך יאמרו, וגדולתך ספרנה.
זכר רב טובך יביעו, וצדקתך ירננו.
חנון מרחום אדוני, ערך אפיים וגדול חסד.
טוב אדוני לכל, ורחמיו על כל מעשיו.
יודוך אדוני כל מעשיך, וחסידיך יברכוך.
כבוד מלכותך יאמרו, גבורתך ידברו.
להודיע לבני האדם גבורותיו, וכבוד הדר מלכותו.
מלכותך מלכות כל עולמים, וממשלתך בכל דור ודור.
סומך אדוני לכל הנופלים, וזוקף לכל הכפופים.
עיני כל אליך יסברו, ואתה נותן להם את אוכלם בעתו.
פותח את ידיך, ומשביע לכל חי רצון.
צדיק אדוני בכל דרכיו, וחסיד בכל מעשיו.
קרוב אדוני לכל קוראיו, לכל אשר יקראוהו באמת.
רצון יראיו יעשה, ואת שבתם ישמע ויושיעם.
שומר אדוני את כל הווה, ואת כל רשעים ישמיד.
תהילת אדוני ידבר פי, ויברך כל בשר שם קודשו לעולם ועד.
ואנחנו נברך יה, מעתה ועד עולם. Hallelujah.
We continue on page 220, Ilufinu.
Ilufinu, מלא שירה קיים, ולשוננו רינה, וידינו פרוסות, כנשרי שמיים, ורגלינו קלות כילות. אילופינו, מלא שירה קיים, ולשוננו רינה, וידינו פרוסות, כנשרי שמיים, ורגלינו קלות כילות. אין אנחנו מספיקים להוד כנשרי שמיים ורגלינו קלות כיעלות.
We continue with Shochen Ad on page 222, the middle paragraph. We'll just, I'll do the top paragraph and Cantor Gabrielle will come in the middle. Ha'el b'tatzumot uzecha, hagadol b'chvot shemecha, hagibor lanetzach, v'hanora b'norotecha, hamelech hayoshev, al kisei rama v'nisa.
שוכן עד מרום וקדוש שמו
שוכן עד מרום וקדוש שמו
וכתוב רננו צדיקים באדוני לישרים נאווה תהילה בפי ישרים תתעלה ודברי צדיקים תתברך ובלשון חסידים תתרומם ובקרב קדושים תתקדש ומקלות ריבות עמך בית ישראל ברינה יתפאר שמך מלכנו בכל דור ודור ישתבח שמך לעד מלכנו האל המלך הגדול והקדוש בשמיים ובארץ כי לך נאה אדוני אלוהינו באלוהי אבותינו ואמותינו שהוא שבחה לב וזמרה עוז וממשלה נצח גדולה גבורה תהילה ותפארת קדושה ומלכות ברכות והודאות מעתה ועד עולם ברוך אתה אדוני אל מלך גדול בתשבחות אל ההודעות אדון הנפלאות הבוחר בשירי זמרה מלך מלכי העולמים.
אמן. יתגדל ויתקדש שמי רבה בעלמא דברה חירותי וימליך מלכותי בחייכון ובימיכון וחיי דכל בית ישראל בהגהלה ובזמן קריב ואמרו אמן. יהי שמי רבה מברך לעולם ולעולמי עלמיה יתברך וישתבח ויתפאר ויתרומם ויתנשא ויתהדר ויתעלה ויתהלל שמי דקודשה בריחו לעילה מן כל ברכתה ושירתה תושבחתה ונחמתה דאמירן בעלמא ואמרו amen. We rise for the Baruch Hu on 226.
ברכו את אדוני המבורך Continue in English on the bottom of page 228.
Okay.
Please join me.
Praised
are you, Adonai our God, sovereign of the universe, creator of light and darkness, who makes peace and fashions all things. In mercy you illumine the world and those who live upon it. In your goodness you daily renew creation. How numerous are your works, Adonai. In wisdom you formed them all, filling the earth with your creatures. Be praised, Adonai our God, for the excellent work of your hands, and for the lights you created. May they glorify you. Shine a new light upon
upon
Zion, that we all may swiftly merit its radiance. Praised are you, Adonai, creator of all heavenly lights. Baruch atah Adonai, Yotzer HaMeorot.
We are on page 230. Ahava Rabbav Tanu Adonai Eloheinu Chem Lagidol Avitera Chamalta Aleinu Avinu Malkeinu Ba'avor Avotenu Shabbat Chuvecha Shabbat Chuvecha Avinu Malkeinu Vatilamdem Chukei Chaim Kein Techonenu Lamdenu Avinu Ha'av HaRachaman Hamrachem Rachem Aleinu V'tein B'libeinu Lehavin Lehaskil Lishmo Walilmod Ulilamed Lishmor Velasod Ulekayem et kol divrei Talmud Toratecha b'yahava V'ha'erinenu b'toratecha V'dabek libeinu b'mitzvotecha V'yached levavenu Li'ahava o yira et shemecha V'lo nevosh V'lo nikalem V'lo nikashel le'olam va'ed Ki v'shem kodshecha Hagadol v'hanora b'hatachnu Nagila v'nismecha b'shuatecha V'havienu Leshalom me'arba kanvot haaretz v'tolichenu kol mimiyut le'artzenu ki el poel Yeshuotata uvanu v'charta v'keravtenu L'shimcha gadol sela be'emet L'hodot lecha u'liachetcha b'yahava Baruch atah Adonai Habocher b'yamo Yisrael b'yahava. We're on page 232. Please join us for Shema. Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad Baruch Shem Kavod Malchuto Leolam Va'ed. We continue as Gabrielle leads us in the V'ahavta on 234.
ואהבת את אדוני אלוהיך בכל לבבך ובכל נפשך ובכל מאודיך והיו הדברים האלה אשר אנוכי מצווך היום על לבבך ושיננתם לבניך ודיברת בם בשבתך בביתך ובלכתך בדרך ובשוכבך ובקומך וכשאתם נאות על ידך והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובשעריך. We continue in English, middle of page 236. Adonai said to Moses as follows, "Speak to the Israelite people and instruct them to make for themselves fringes on the corners of their garments throughout the ages. Let them attach a cord of blue to the fringe at each corner. That shall be your fringe. Look at it and recall all the commandments of Adonai and observe them, so you do not follow your heart and eyes in your lustful urge. למען תזכרו ועשיתם את כל מצוותיי, והייתם קדושים לאלוהיכם. אני אדוני אלוהיכם, אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים, להיות לכם לאלוהים. אני אדוני אלוהיכם, אמת. אדוני אלוהיכם, אמת.
ויציב ויאהוב וחביב ונורא וידיר וטוב ויפה הדבר הזה עלינו לעולם ועד. אמת אלוהי עולם מלכנו, צור יעקב מגן אישנו לדור ודור הוא קיים ושמו קיים, וחיסון אחון ומלכותו ואמונתו לעד קיימת, ודבריו חיים וקיימים נאמנים ונחמדים לעד ולעולמי עולמים. ממצרים גאלתנו אדוני אלוהינו, מבית עבדים בריתנו, על זאת שיבחו אהובים רוממו אל, ונתנו ידידים זמירות ושירות ותשבחות, ברכות והודאות למלך אל חי וקיים, רם ונישא, גדול ונורא, משפיל גאים ומגביה שפלים, מוציא אסירים ופודה נביאים, ועוזר דלים, ועונה לעמו בעת שבם, בעת שבם אליו. Last 4 lines of 238. תהילות לאל עליון, ברוך ומבורך, משה ומרים ובני ישראל, לכנו שירה בשמחה רבה, ואמרו כולם. מחמוך 240.
מי כמוך בעלים אדוני, מי כמוך נדר בקודש, נורא תהילות אוסף אלה, נורא תהילות אוסף אלה, היי 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 שירה חדשה, שבחו גאולים, עולה שמך על שפת הים, יחד כולם הודו, והמליכו ואמרו, היי 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 שירה חדשה, שבחו גאולים, עולה שמך על שפת הים, יחד כולם הודו, והמליכו ואמרו, אדוני ימלוך לעולם ועד. זו ישראל כמו בעזרת ישראל, ופדי חינומך יהודה וישראל. גואלנו אדוני צבאות שמו, קדוש ישראל. ברוך אתה אדוני גאל ישראל.
The tefillah begins on page 242.
Adonai שפתי תפתח ופי יגיד תהילתך. Adonai, open up my lips that my mouth may declare your praise. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu v'Elohei avotenu v'imotenu, Elohei Avraham, Elohei Yitzchak, v'Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel, v'Elohei Leah, Ha'el Hagadol, Hagibor v'Hanora, El Elyon, Gomel Chasadim Tovim, וקונה הכל, וזוכר חסי אבות ואימהות, ומביא גאולה לבני בניהם, למען שמו באהבה. מלך עוזר ומושיע ומגן, ברוך אתה אדוני, מגן אברהם בעזרת שרה. אתה גיבור לעולם אדוני, מחיה מתים אתה רב להושיע, מוריד אתה, מכלכל חיים בחסד, מחיה מתים ברחמים רבים, צומח נופלים ברופא חולים, ומתיר אסורים, ומקיים אמונתו לשני עפר. מי כמוך בעל גבורות ומידו מלך, מלך ממית ומחיה ומצמיח ישועה. ונאמן אתה לחיות מתים, ברוך אתה אדוני, מחיה המתים.
אמן. נקדש את שמך בעולם, כשם שמקדישים אותו בשמי מרום, ככתוב על יד נביאך, וקרא זה אל זה ואמר, קדוש 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 אדוני צבאות, מלוך הארץ כבודו. אדיר אדירנו אדוני אדוננו, מאדיר שמך בכל הארץ, ברוך כבוד אדוני ממקומו. אחד הוא אלוהינו, הוא אבינו, הוא מלכנו, הוא מושיענו והוא ישמיענו, ברחמיו לעיני כל חי. אני אדוני אלוהיכם, ימלוך אדוני לעולם, אלוהי ציון לדור ודור. הללויה. לדור ודור נגיד גודלך, ולנצח נצחים קדושתך נקדיש, ושבחך אלוהינו מפינו לא ימוש לעולם ועד. ברוך אתה אדוני האל הקדוש. We're on page 260.
Say shalom bimromav, hu ya'aseh shalom aleinu, ve'al kol Yisrael, ve'al kol yoshvei tevel, ve'imru, Amen. Oseh shalom bimromav, hu ya'aseh shalom aleinu, ve'al kol Yisrael, ve'al kol yoshvei tevel, ve'imru, Amen. Shalom aleinu, ve'al kol Yisrael, ve'al kol yoshvei tevel, ve'imru, Amen. Ve'imru, Amen.
Lovely. That sort of concludes our Shacharit service, and now we move into Torah. I invite you to turn to page 362 as we prepare to take the Torah out of the ark.
Ein kamocha v'Elohim Adonai, ve'en kema'asecha malchutecha malchut kol olamim, u'memshaltecha bechol dor v'dor. Adonai melech, Adonai malach, Adonai yimlach le'olam v'ed, Adonai hos le'amo yiten, Adonai yevarech et amo b'shalom. Ki mitzion tetzeh Torah, ki mitzion tetzeh Torah, u'devar Adonai liYerushalayim. Baruch shenatan Torah, Torah, Baruch shenatan Torah, Torah, le'amo Yisrael, b'kedushato. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Echad Eloheinu, Gadol Adonenu, Kadosh Shemo. Gadlu l'Adonai iti, u'neromema Shemo yachdav. la, hi la la la, ya la la la, hi ya la, ya la 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 la, hi ya la la la, ya la la la.
Yasher Koach. Thank you, Mark. Thank you, Lila. So I invite you all to get this copy of your Chumash. It's and turn to page, if you will, turn to page Ha'azinu on page 1400 exactly. We're going to do a little text study together. We're going to talk a little bit about the complex, it's not the very complex poetry of Ha'azinu. I will tell you that this is one of the hardest parshiot to learn because the words are so unusual. You know, the art of Torah reading. Oh, sure, that would be wonderful. Thank you. There might be some extra. So part of what makes a skilled Torah reader be able to sort of read an entire Kriyah, which can be 6 columns of Torah at a stretch, is that there are patterns, that there are similar words, and there are similar trope phrasing. But when you get into poetry, there's none of that. The words are totally different. They're unusual. And so I wanted to just talk to you a little bit about the parallelism in the Hebrew poetry, specifically of Ha'azinu, and then we're going to look at one phrase and sort of the rabbinic midrashim on this, and I just would like to have you think about it, particularly as we enter Sukkot and get ready for the season for rain. So please turn to, if you're on page 1400, if you'll notice, each line is basically, the line under it is a rephrasing. It's exactly biblical parallelism. It begins, Ha'azinu ha'shamayim va'adabeira, tishma ha'aretz imre fi. The first line is, give ear, O heavens, let me speak. That's what Moses is saying. And now the parallel to that is, let the earth hear the words I utter. So does everybody see the parallel phrase? Yes, Michael? So you need this book. You need the UAHC. It's just much more user-friendly in every possible way. Let me show you, Gabby. It's this one. It's the new one that they redid for a more user-friendly. Well, I got this from that shelf. I'll bring some more over. Okay, that's okay. So can you find Ha'azinu, and people will use that one? It's still good. The old Plout is really meant for scholarly study and not. It's harder for synagogue use. It's true. I'm sorry about that. I'll bring some over from the other room for next time. Please forgive me. But Gabrielle is finding out where Ha'azinu begins in the. Did you say 1556? Okay. So we're in Deuteronomy chapter 32, verse 1. I just want to talk a little bit about parallelism, and we'll do a little study together. Verse 2 says, Ya'arov kematar likhi, tizal, katal imrati, ki seirim elai deshe. May my discourse, this is the verse we're actually going to study together. May my discourse come down as rain, my speech distill as the dew. Do you see the parallelism? Rain, dew. Like showers on young growth, like droplets on the grass. Showers, droplets, growth, grass. Let's look at a few more, okay? For the name of the eternal I proclaim, give glory to our God. That's actually one of the lines that we say before Adonai Sevatai Tiftach in certain services when we daven the Amidah. Look at this. And this is sort of complicated, actually. What we're going to skip. We're going to go to verse 5. Unworthy children, that crooked, perverse generation, that's us, their baseness has played God false. Look at verse 6. Is not this the Father who created you, fashioned you, and made you endure? Verse 7, again, parallelism. Remember the days of old, that's one. Consider the years of ages past. Same thing. Remember the days of old. It's a different way of saying that. Ask your parent who will inform you, or your elders who will tell you. Okay, so that's what this is about. So now you all have the handout. Gabrielle, do you have this as well? Are there any extra copies of this? Oh. Okay, great. So we're just going to focus on verse 2, which compares Torah to dew and rain. And I believe we're showing this. Miles is going to show this online for all of you who are joining us via Zoom. Thank you, Miles. By the Torah's account, Ha'azinu is a song meant to testify against our wrongdoing. It is. It's actually a recap of the opening of Devarim when Moses kind of lambasts the people. This is a poetic lambast. It's almost like there are parentheses about Deuteronomy. There's the opening, chapter like 1, 2, and 3, and then there's Ha'azinu. And basically, while not exclusively, we are unworthy, and God is just a million names. And for those of you who were with me on the Sukkot dinner, I believe, no, we didn't do that here. We did. Yes, we did. We talked about the different names of God. Well, like there's a zillion more in this parasha, and so we could talk about all the different names of God, but we won't do that right now. Okay. So, but the rabbis interpret this song as a model for the powerful and dynamic nature of Torah as a whole. Torah that can be harsh like a storm or gentle like dew. Most importantly, we learn that there's nothing automatic about Torah's goodness. The impact of Torah depends on the work we are willing to do to learn it, share it, and interpret it. And we can all know just by this opening paragraph how many of you have studied Torah and seen very weird or violent sections where we're supposed to go in and kill everybody. And I mean, Torah can be very dramatic sometimes, and you're going like, this feels like, okay, it's complicated for me. As Moshe delivers his final discourse to the people, he invokes the imagery of water in the natural world. He says, Ya'arov kamatar likhi, tizal katalim rati, ki se'irim ale desha, v'chirvivi ale esev. And this, we already read this. May my discourse come down as rain, my speech distill as the dew, like showers on young growth, like droplets on the grass. Turn the page. So, this imagery becomes the basis of an extensive exploration in the pursuit of Torah in an early midrash in Devarim, Sifrei. And while the midrash begins with the premise that Torah is synonymous with goodness, in the continuation it becomes clear that Torah can actually also be damaging, or at least not good for everyone all the time. And it says, Kimatar, Ma matar chayim le'olam, as the rain. So it says, the quote, as the rain. So just as rain is life for the world, and you know where we're going with this right away, so are words of Torah. But what happens when there's too much rain? Right? It's not good. But then why not say, just as with rain, part of the world is happy and part sad? And so right, because rain can cause destruction, water can be destructive, and water can be life-giving. At first, the Midrash associates rain with the life-giving quality of Torah. But upon further reflection, we know that rain is not unilaterally good for all people. Someone's hard-earned stored wine or grain might be ruined by too much rain. If anybody's paying attention to what's going on in Florida, like everybody lost their crops. There will be no oranges this year. I mean, there was just, that flood came, it destroyed, the water was destructive. By implication, Torah might also actually cause harm to some people. Indeed, in our own reflection on how people experience Torah in their lives, we might fairly arrive at the conclusion that while Torah is good for some, it actually could be damaging for others. That's a very interesting thought. The Midrash, however, rejects this possibility by bringing in a second metaphor, the dew. Talmud lomar, tazal katal imrati, matal kol ha'olam kulo semechim bo. Af divrei Torah, kol ha'olam kulo semechim bo. As it's written, my words shall flow as dew, just as with dew, all the world is happy with it, right? Dew basically does no harm, right? Morning dew will not flood your crops. It'll make sure there's a little rain going in the groundwater. We love the dew, and that's why the prayer for Tal on Passover is so important, because dew is so precious. We say, precious, precious dew. So I'm going to read a little bit more, and then I'd love to know your thoughts about this. And try to imagine some instances where Torah really could be harmful instead of helpful. Torah is not functioning as Torah. This interpretation tells us, unless every single person is touched by Torah for the better. There is no such thing as Torah that is good for some, but not all. Although we might see parts of Torah that people experience as painful or harmful rather than a source of joy, the Midrash apparently cannot fathom this possibility. It inspires us to set our sights on a Torah that makes everybody happy. And I would say, this is it's an extensive study sheet that would be for its own sort of hour-long shiur in and of itself. But I want you to think about your relationship to Torah. And is there ever been a time in your lives where Torah has been complicated for you? And I'm not talking about like, I had a Torah reading and I couldn't learn it. I'm talking about like the words of Torah were hard. Michael? For us to kill the Amalekites, that's right. I'm wondering, I would love to give. So what Michael said was, we're told that we shouldn't murder, yet we were told to destroy Amalek and everybody in his community. Right, so there's already with that, there are sort of, so many definitions of what it means to kill and what's a holy war. That's a holy war against the Amalekites. Yes, Sal? Killing in self-defense is, and that's one would say that since Amalek was out to destroy us, that by destroying Amalek, that would fall under that category. Yes. Right. So the Ten Commandments don't specify, but that's why there's so much exposition on the Ten Commandments themselves. Can you think of a time in your life where Torah has been complicated? I can think of one. Just that really, I think the story of Nadav and Avihu is so complicated, is so painful. Here are these two young men in reverie. They've just been basically ordained as part of the high priesthood with their father Aaron, and they do something in an ecstatic state, and they get basically burned to smithereens. I mean, that's a very complicated story, and there are many others in the Torah, but that's one. And and I think that in Deuteronomy, in a couple places that we read, we are actually mandated to go in, kill everybody in the town, take the women and children, and enjoy the booty. Like, it's hard, and we understand that, but you can understand now how somebody who is very religious took that seriously, right? A very firm person, even in modern times, and you could see wiping out villages that weren't theirs or whatever that they feel is in their territory. You can understand how that can be interpreted possibly for bad. Rabbi Miriam, do you have any thoughts? Right. So the stubborn and rebellious child, Ben Sarer or Moreh, that we actually talked about that a few weeks ago. Like, how we're all rebellious and stubborn sometimes, all of us. There isn't one person in this room who wasn't rebellious and stubborn, I'm sure, at maybe not Barbara Levine, but no, but I'm saying, but the truth is, so that's why. So that this gets into the whole gist of it's so important to dig deep in these complicated pieces of Torah that seem as if they could lead us to engage harmfully. And by the way, that's what a lot of the Talmudic discourse is about. You know, in the Talmudic discourse, there's basically almost no incidents where they can justify capital punishment. There's no incidents where they can justify ben sorer moreh. Though there are dapim, pages and pages and pages of conversation about, well, he could have meant this. There could have been this exception, or there could have been this exception, because the rabbis too understood that there are pieces of the Torah that really, if you take them literally, are not going to breed a healthy society. And so I just thought this was, sort of interesting as we study today. We're coming towards the end of Torah. We're reading this unusual piece of poetry. I encourage you, as we chant today, to read. This is kind of, if you want to feel bad about yourself as one of the children of Israel, read Ha'azinu, because it does not speak well of, and yet Moses concludes with kind of a happy thing. So we were like the people they love to criticize, and yet God still keeps us in love. And we read it. We just had Yom Kippur. God took us back in love. It was such a beautiful day. So we want to focus on the good. And with that, our reading I'll let Rabbi Miriam sort of guide our Torah service today. Thank you for studying with me. I hope you guys were able to see the sheet on the Zoom, and if not, I can send it to you. I believe our reading today is going to begin with the 5th Aliyah, which is verse 29. Thank you. We are on. I don't know. Verse 29. Gabrielle, can you tell us? It's chapter 32, verse 29.
Page 1559. Or 1404.
Thank you.
Chapter 32.
Miles, can you turn on the handheld that Miriam is
All right, power button on the mic. That's helpful.
Here, Miriam, why don't you take my headset? Would you prefer?
No, if this is working, it's on now. Yeah. Okay, got it.
We already have 2 mics up here.
We have multiple mics, and we're about to call one more. Yamdu, Michael ben Yerachmiel v'Nacha, v'Hadar bat Shlomo v'Rivka, Michael and Evelyn Bell, and chanting will be Mark Filowitz. That's not it. We don't know where it is. We don't know where it is.
Yeah, it's in the Siddur.
Okay. Yeah. Thank you, Gabrielle.
Baruch Adonai Hamvarach.
Baruch Adonai Hamvarach le'olam va'ed.
Baruch Adonai Hamvarach le'olam va'ed. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher bahar banu mikol ha'amim v'natan lanu et Torato. Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah.
Amen. Lu hakmu yishkilu zot yavinu lacharicham echam yirdof achad elef ushnaim nisu revava im lo ki zura michra v'adonai hasgiram ki lo sureinu Zuram v'ivenu pelilim ki migefen sedom kafna umishtamot amora anavemo ineve rosh ashkelo Ameroto lamo Chamat Taninim Yena Verosh Pitalim Achzar Chalo Kamus Imadi Hatum Veotzi Orata Li Nikam Bishilem Leit Tamut Raglam Ki Karov Yom Edam V'chashvidot Lanu. Wait, there's more. Ki Adin Adonai Amo V'alavodav Yitnecham Ki Yireh Ki Azlat Yad V'efes Azu V'azuz V'amar Ein Eloheimo Zur Chasauvo Asher Chelev Zevachemo Yochelu Yishtu Yein Nisicha Yakumu V'yazurchem Yihi Aleichem Zitra Ru'ata Ki Ani V'yein Eloheim Imad Ani Amet V'yacheyeh Mechatziti V'yani Arfa V'yein Miyad Meitzil.
Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher natan lanu Torat emet, v'hayei olam nata b'tochenu. Baruch atah Adonai, noten haTorah.
Amen. I just want to call your attention while we are between aliyot that this parsha is written in poetic form, similar to Bishalach or in Exodus, where you have a distinctive layout of the text. And if Miles can zoom in on the Torah reading a little bit, you'll be able to see it. Or if you have never seen this part of the Torah, feel free to come up and take a look at it, because it really is beautiful, beautifully written. And we go across the columns, which makes it a little challenging to read.
The other thing I just want to add, Rabbi Miriam, is that this is the only parasha where and I believe it's in Masechet Megillah, where they actually tell you exactly where to break it up. And there's an acronym so that you know when you're reading Ha'azinu, which is the first aliyah, second, third, fourth, fifth, and sixth. And there's there's an acronym so you understand that, because it's very specific and it's the only place that it's prescribed. The other breakdowns that we have really came from the Masoretes many hundreds of years later.
It's beautiful, beautiful. Yamdu, Malka bar Chorke, V'gitman Gedalia ben Chaim, L'Aliyah Shneya, Ludmila Zerlin and Greg Weitzman, and chanting Torah will be Nitza Hennig.
Baruch Hu Adonai, Amvarach.
Baruch Adonai Amvarach Le'olam Va'ed.
Baruch Adonai Amvarach Le'olam Va'ed. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher bachar banu mikol ha'amim, v'natan lanu et Torato. Baruch atah Adonai, noten haTorah.
Amen. כי אשא אל שמיים ידי, ואמרתי חי אנוכי לעולם. אם שנות יברק חרבי, ותאחז במשפט ידי, אשיב נקם לצרי, ולמשנאי אשלם. אזכיר חצי מדם וחרבי תאכל, בשר מדם חלל, ושביה מראש פרות אויב. הרנינו גויים עמו, כי דם עבדיו יקום, ונקם ישיב לצריו, וכיפר אדמתו עמו.
Baruch
אתה אדוני אלוהינו מלך העולם, אשר נתן לנו תורת אמת וחיי עולם נטע בתוכנו. ברוך אתה אדוני נותן התורה.
Amen. Yamdu, Yahamdu, Feivel ben Shlomo, Vishabta Yirmiyahu ben Raphael, Vechava. Felix Livitz, Scott Spitzer, and chanting will be Rabbi Marcia Tilchin.
Thank you. Put this here. So you're going to touch right here. Will you be my Gabba?
Baruch et Adonai Hamvarach.
Baruch Adonai Barach Leolam Va'ed.
Baruch Adonai Hamvarach Leolam Va'ed. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher bachar banu mikol ha'amim, v'natan lanu et torato. Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah.
Vayavo Moshe vayidaber et kol divrei hashira hazot beozneham hu v'Yoshua bin Nun vayechal Moshe lidaber et kol hadvarim ha'ele el kol Yisrael vayomer aleihem simu levavechem lechol hadvarim Asher anochi me'id bachem hayom, asher titzavum et b'nechem lishmor lasot, et kol divrei haTorah hazot. Ki lo diber reik hu mikem, ki hu chayechem. ובדבר הזה תאריכו ימים על האדמה אשר אתם עוברים את הירדן שמה לרשתה וידבר אדוני אל משה בעצם היום הזה לאמור עלי אל הר העברים הזה הר נבו אשר בארץ מואב אשר על פני יריחו ראה את ארץ כנען אשר אני נותן לבני ישראל לאחוזה ומות בהר אשר אתה עולה שמה והיאסף אל עמך כאשר מת אהרון אחיך בהור ההר ויאסף אל עמיו על אשר מעלותם בי בתוך בני ישראל בימי מריבת קודש מדבר צין על אשר לא קידשתם אותי בתוך בני ישראל כי מנגד תראה את הארץ ושמה לא תבוא אל הארץ אשר אני נותן לבני ישראל.
Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech ha'olam, asher natan lanu Torat emet, v'chayei olam nata b'tochenu. Baruch atah Adonai, noten haTorah.
Amen. Shar kochachem. Okay, we're going to cover the Torah and I guess do a Mishaberach L'cholim. Is it? Like, I'm coming to find it. Thank you. Okay. Hang on a second. So I'll do a Mishaberach for everyone who came up for an Aliyah. Mishaberach Avotenu Avraham Yitzchak v'Yaakov Sarah Rivka Rachel v'Leah Hu Yivarech et kol Anashim v'Nashim she Yavo'u leTorah she'ala hayom lichvod ha'makom v'lichvod ha'Torah v'lichvod ha'Shabbat HaKadosh Baruch Hu Yivarech Otam v'et kol mishpachtam v'yishlach bracha v'hatzlacha b'chol ma'aseh yadehem im kol Yisrael achehem v'nomar amen. May the one who blessed our ancestors, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, Sarah, Rebecca, Rachel, and Leah, bless all those who came up for an Aliyah and who read Torah with reverence for God and respect for Torah and Shabbat. May the Holy One protect them and save them from all trouble and sorrow. May they all prosper in their deeds together with fellow Jews and all people everywhere. And we say amen. And now I'm going to do a Mishaberach L'cholim. What I'm going to do is I'll do what I did last night, which is I'll daven the Hebrew, I'll insert the names, and then any of you can stand up and we'll go around the room and say your names. And if there are people joining us virtually, if you have names, when you type them in, at the end Miles will also read the names that you type in, that you include. Mishaberach Avotenu Avraham Yitzchak v'Yaakov Sarah Rivka Rachel v'Leah Hu Yivarech v'Yirapeh ha'cholim. Barbara Bevins, Rabbi Emmanuel Ben David, Alan Boyarsky, Barbara Fish, Jerry Harmon, Zach Pesner, Nancy Pearson, Dale Scully, Ed and Paula Schechter, Elaine Solomon, David Trackman, Shirley Zaidman, Laura Troiani. I'm praying for Cynthia Cohen, Pat Rudden, Zvi Shostak. Thank you. Thank you. Miles, did anybody share names?
Marla Kazin, Megan Firestone, Christopher Gonzalez, and Mark Silverstein.
Thank you. HaKadosh Baruch Hu Yimalei Rachamim Alehem Lahachazikam L'Rapotam V'yishlach Lahem Mehera Refuah Shlema L'chol Avareihem V'Gidehem B'toch Shar Cholei Yisrael Refuat HaNefesh U'Refuat HaGuf Shabbat Himlizok U'Refuat Karova Lavo Hafshta Ba'agala Uvizman Kariv V'nomar Amen. And we all sing together. El na refana la, El na refana la, El na refana la, Elna Refanala. May the one who blessed our ancestors, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, Sarah, Rebecca, Rachel, and Leah, bless and heal all those who are dear to us. May the Holy One in mercy strengthen them and heal them soon, body and soul, together with all others who suffer illness. And we say, Amen. Okay, so do we have, Scotty, are you strong enough to do Hagbah on this Torah? Oh, you have somebody. Oh, I mean, this is a heavy Torah. Okay. I got your back. Please rise as the Torah is lifted. Look at you. Vivizot HaTorah Asher Sam Moshe Lifnei Bnei Yisrael Al Pi Adonai V'yad Moshe. That was fabulous. Shadivarim Al Shosha Divarim. Oh, with the new info. Shosha Divarim Haolam Omed Al Shlosha Divarim Al Shlosha Divarim Al Shlosha Divarim Haolam Omed Al Torah Ve'al Ha'avodah Ve'al Gemilut Chasadim Al HaTorah Ve'al Ha'avodah Ve'al Gemilut Chasadim.
And if we are doing Haftarah, we do not return the Torah quite yet.
I'm just going to do a teeny bit.
Leave it. I would leave it back on the podium.
Will you sit? Would you be so willing? Or to babysit it? Could babysit the Torah? Okay. Yeah, go sit with the Torah. Be nice. Okay. So, you may be seated. I'm just going to do a little bit of the Haftarah. Also, great poetry. And actually, this is the song sung by David in 2 Samuel after he is, his life is spared in some miraculous ways after Saul was chasing after him. So I'll just do a little bit, and again, you'll see the beautiful poetry inherent in this. And this is actually almost a complete recap. I think it's of Psalm 128, but I'm not sure. Hello, this is okay. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher bachar b'neviim tovim v'ratza v'divreihem hanemarim bemet. Baruch atah Adonai habocher b'Torah u'b'Moshe abdo u'v'Yisrael amo v'neviei hamet v'tzedek. So in this one, if anybody has this copy, it's on 14:13. Vayedaber David l'Adonai divrei hashira hazot bayo. Hitzil Adonai oto mikaf kol oivav mikaf Shaul. Vayomar Adonai sal'i u'mitzudati Umifalti li Elohei tzuri echesebo migini vekeren yishi miskabi uminusi mishi'i mechamas tishieni mehulalek radonai umeoivai ivashea ki afafuni mishbere mavet Nachalei b'liya'al ya'avtuni Chevlei Shaul sabuni Kadamuni mikshe mavet Patzar li ekra Adonai V'el Elohai ekra Vayishma mehechalo koli V'shavati be'oznav. So I'll read a little of the poetry in English for you. When the Eternal saved David from the grasp of his enemies, and especially from the grasp of King Saul, David sung this song to the Eternal. The Eternal is my rock, my fortress, my refuge. My God is my rock where I seek shelter. That's part one. My shield, the source of my salvation. My deliverer, you save me from violence. The waves of death surrounded me. That's part one. Destruction's floods frightened me. So again, water and water imagery, also a parallel to what we read in Ha'azinu. It's beautiful. This is some of the oldest biblical literature that we have. The bonds of Sheol, which is the closest we have to hell, the bonds of Sheol closed in on me, death's net entrapped me. Again, you can see the parallelism. In my torment, I called to the eternal. I called to God. In your temple, you heard me. My scream was in your ears. This is a picture of God, the fiery God. The earth trembled and shuddered. The sky's foundation shook. Your wrath made them shudder. Smoke poured from your nostrils. A devouring fire from your mouth. Blazing coals flamed forth from you. What animal does that sound like? It's a dragon, right? God the dragon. You spread out the sky and came down with a thick cloud beneath your feet. You saddled a cherub and flew. You swooped on the wings of the wind. Suddenly, God was a fiery dragon, and now he's like a little fat little angel flying in the wind. You tented yourself around with darkness, the rain clouds your pavilion. Glowing coals flared forth from your brilliance. The eternal thundered from heaven. The voice of the Most High made itself heard. You launched arrows and scattered them. Your lightning, arrows, confounded them. The sea's channels could be seen, the earth's foundations revealed. I'm going to skip ahead to verse 32. Ki mi el mi baladei Adonai umitzur mi baladei Elohim ha'el ma'uzi chayil Vayater tamim darki, mishaveh raglai ka'ayalot, v'al bamotaya amideni. And this was actually a direct quote from Ha'azinu. Ha'el tamim darko. God, your way is perfect. Eternal One, your word is clear. I'm in verse 31. You are a shield to all who look to you for shelter. Who is God, who besides God is eternal? Who is a rock other than God? The God who is a mighty shelter, who maps out for me a noble path, who has made my legs like a deer's, who has made me stand on the heights, who trains my hands for battle, my arms to bend the bow of bronze. I'll just close with the last few words. Okay. Alkein oivecha Adonai bagoyim uleshimecha azamer migdol Yeshuot malko va'osei chesed limashicho lidavid ulizaro ad olam. The eternal lives, praised be my rock. God is exalted, the rock of my salvation. The God who gives me revenge, who makes people subject to me, who frees me from my foes, who raises me above my enemies, who rescues me from the violent. So I thank you, Eternal One among the nations, and sing praises to your name. You are a tower of victory to your king. You show love for your anointed, to David and his descendants forever. And that's one of the reasons, we understand that Mashiach ben David, that, basically there's that Mashiach will be a descendant of David, and in part, it's this kind of literature, and it's all over, from which that notion comes. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, tzur kol haolamim, tzadik b'chol hadorot, ha'el ha'neman, ha'omer v'yoseh, ha'medaber u'mekayem, shekol devarav emet v'tzedek. Ne'eman atahu Adonai Eloheinu, v'ne'emanim devarecha, v'davar echad midvarecha, achor lo yelech ne'eman v'rachaman ata, baruch atah Adonai, Ha'el neman bechol devarav. Rachem al Tzion ki hi beit chayenu. V'la'aluv et nefesh Toshia b'mei rav yameinu. Baruch atah Adonai. Misamech Tzion b'baneha. Samcheinu Adonai Eloheinu. Be'eliyahu anavi avdecha. V'malchut beit David meshichecha. B'meira yavo v'yagel libeinu. Al kiso lo yeshev zar v'lo yinchalu od acherim et kevodo. Ki v'shem kodechecha nishbata lo. Shelo yichben eiro li'olam va'ed. Baruch atah Adonai. Magen David. Al haTorah v'al havodah v'al hanavim v'al yom haShabbat hazeh. Jenatata lanu Adonai Elohim. Likdusha v'limenucha lechavod u'ledifaret al hakol Adonai Eloheinu anachnu modim lach u'mevarchim otach yitbarach shimcha befi kol chai tamid li'olam va'ed baruch atah Adonai mekadesh haShabbat. Oh, thank you for letting me read Haftarah. Michael.
Statistically speaking, probably. Though I am not a geneticist nor a historian.
Well, yes, but like for instance, David was not part of the priestly sect, for example, right? So, It's a good question. It's a great question. And actually, it's been a long time since I studied it, but there's a big David is a descendant of Judah. He's from the tribe of Judah, and that's why so in an uber typological way, we're having a conversation about, aren't we all descendants of David? I'd say less so that than we could, in theory, if there really were 12 tribes of Israel, or 16, or whatever there were, however we want to decide that, we could be descendants of, Zavulun and Naphtali and Gad and Asher and all the rest. That's a possibility. But the fact that that Jerusalem was based in Yehuda, in Judah, and the northern Israel was Ephraim, who was the son of Joseph, and David was, that there's a notion, is the Messiah going to be Mashiach ben Yosef or Mashiach ben David? Is it Mashiach ben from the sort of the northern leadership or from the southern leadership? And in the end, we're called Jews because it's the southern leadership that actually sort of won out as our theology was being crafted, and that's why we focus so much on David. But it's not. But the whole priestly gene is a completely separate conversation. David was not but that's why Jesus had to be a descendant of, from the Davidic line, also, which is also really interesting. And that there's also, but the whole idea of Mashiach ben Yosef, there's a reason why Jesus' dad is Yosef and Miriam. And that's connected to the whole conversation of Mashiach ben Yosef versus Mashiach ben David. It's really quite interesting. I could actually sort of pull together a lesson if you're interested about that. I'd love to teach that. It's been a while since I've studied that material. But anyway, yes? Okay.
Were there still microphones?
Oh, you came back. Okay. Well, you could listen. What we can do is let's finish our service, and then we can chit chat over a snack at the Oneg. How does that sound? Okay, that'll be great. All right. Very good questions. And of course, I don't have all the answers because I don't have all the answers. I think it's time to return the Torah to the Ark. I'll leave that to our Chazanit, Kelpaj.
Etcha Kadesh Yameinu Kekedem. Return us to you, Adonai, and we will return. Renew our days as of old. We continue with Aleinu on page 480, 586. There we go. All right. Aleinu leshabeach ladon hakol, lateit gerula liyotze breshit, shelo asanu kegoyei haratot, velo samanu kemishbechot ha'adama, shelo sam chelkenu kahem, vegor aleinu kechohamonam, va'anachnu korim, ומשתחווים ומודים לפני מלך מלכי המלכים הקדוש ברוך הוא ונאמר והיה אדוני למלך על כל הארץ ביום ההוא ביום ההוא יהיה אדוני אחד Ushemo, Ushemo, Ushemo Echad.
Okay. Mourner's Kaddish is now. And I want to invite anybody, either with us virtually or in the room. Is anybody here, I don't think so, but in a week of Shiva right now? How about in Shaloshim? Anybody here in a year of, still in a year of mourning for somebody? Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
And I'm remembering Jonathan Kaysen.
Jonathan Kaysen. And Miles, is there anybody who's in a year of mourning?
First year of mourning for Jonathan Kaysen.
Oh.
And Randy Sostock.
Thank you.
And a yard site for Cheryl Newman.
Thank you so much. I'm also, I just want to acknowledge the sisters of my friend Sylvia, June, and so I know that she's remembering them today. And we're also remembering Gertrude Ritchie, Joseph Sandowski, Ann Goldman Novitz, Jean Friedman, Sarah Rubin, Sal Fran, Scott Ames, Kim Van Winkle, Clara Festovsky, Helen Pfluger, Gary Klein, Herbert Nagler, Lillian Gladstein, Lillian Bart, Oscar Lawson, Ozzy Gorin, Aaron Pfluger, Nettie Gorin, and Wendy Klatsker. Tehizi Chram Baruch, may their memories endure as a blessing. I invite all those to join me in the recitation of the Mourner's Kaddish as we remember our loved one.
יתגדל ויתקדש שמי רבה, בעלמא דיברח ירותי, וימליך מלכותי, בחייכון וביומכון, ובחיי דכל בית ישראל, בעגלה ובזמן קריב, ואמרו אמן. יהא שמי רבה מברך לעולם ולעולמי עלמיה. יתברך וישתבח ויתפאר ויתרומם ויתנשא. ויתהדר ויתעלה ויתהלל שמי דקודשה בריחו לעילה מן כל ברכתה ושירתה תושבחתה ונחמתה תאמירן בעלמה ואמרו אמן יהא שלמה רבה מן שמיה וחיים עלינו ועל כל ישראל ואמרו אמן עושה שלום במרומיו הוא יעשה שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל ואמרו אמן.
we have announcements by our representative from Religious Practices. Who might that be?
No, we don't. Never mind, I guess.
Okay, well, can I say some things?
Well, gee, what's happening?
Well, like Sukkot is tomorrow.
Is it? Oh my God.
Yeah, and guess what? Scotty, can you do me a favor? Can you go bring like some flyers out from outside about the thing tonight with the, and the other thing, and the thing tomorrow,
And then the other
thing-
few things.
Okay, but here's, okay, so please join us for a potluck in the sukkah. It's going to be really fun tomorrow at 5 o'clock. And there's, I guess, well, you know what it said? I'm confused because I feel like it's a big sukkah. But they said that people had to make reservations by October 5th. But I feel like if somebody brought a nice soup, you'd let them come anyway. Okay, so we want you all to join us, and if you can access the TBT High Holiday book, it does sort of give you a guide about what part of the meal you'll be contributing to, but based upon your last name. Join us at 5 o'clock, and we'll have like a little ceremony. We won't do a full festival, Ma'ariv, but we'll do but we'll be able to shake the lulav in the sukkah and welcome in the festival together in community. And then Monday. Are there services here? Monday morning on day one, Sukkot?
No.
Okay. If anyone wants to join me, I'll be leading services on Monday at Temple Beth Shalom in Long Beach. They're very nice, and there'll be lunch in the sukkah afterwards. I'm just saying. And then Monday night, is there something happening here Monday night?
No.
But Tuesday night, now
night.
you want to put on your dancing shoes because Sisterhood is having an event in the sukkah at 6 p.m. And is it too late, Evelyn, to make reservations? Sisterhood in the sukkah. Sisters in the sukkah. And men's club, but the most important thing is the men's club joke breakfast tomorrow. I understand that that a very famous comedian is coming in to actually inspire the humor. The men's club told me they used up all their jokes in past years, so they had to bring in somebody who had new jokes. So it should be a lot of fun. Please join them. What time? 10:30.
10:30.
Great. And then they're going to finish putting up the sukkah, if there's maybe decorating, so we'd love to have you there with us. And on Wednesday, I'll just say to everybody, I'm going to be sitting in the sukkah from 11 to 6:30. I'll probably have to go, the bathroom a couple times. But with the point being, I'll be there. I want to meet you and talk to you if you want to just stop by. There'll be treats and maybe coffee, some good coffee. And so we'd love to have you. I'd love to meet you if you can come. And then next Friday is going to be a little different. There's not going to be 7 p.m. services here because it's Chol HaMoed, so there's no Kabbalat Shabbat. We'll be davening a festival, just a Shabbat service in the sukkah at 6:30, very short, about 25 minutes. And then we're going to have bring your own dinner to the sukkah. And we're going to have Shabbat dinner. The synagogue will provide wine for pleasure and for kiddush, chalot, and delicious desserts. So you bring your dinner, and we'll all make Shabbos together in the sukkah, which will be really fun. Okay, and what else did I miss?
Simchat Torah.
Simchat Torah is going to be celebrated a week from Sunday here. And there's also, how are we doing, how's that dinner working? Because that's a pasta dinner already served to you at 5 o'clock here. And then we're going to have a big festival and sing and dance with the Torahs. And we'll have all your great clergy here, your beautiful chazan. And will we have music and stuff? Is there going to be?
Of course.
Oh, hello. Yes. We not have music on Simchas Torah. What? Okay.
We have
exactly.
like a handful of beautiful tunes for each Torah.
Okay.
to honor
I'm so
them
excited.
all.
Children wanted and welcome.
Families,
yes.
please.
An aliyah for everybody, by the way. At least I think that's what it will be. And just to remind you that if you know any people between the ages of 6 and 17 who love to do theater, Hilltop Players, which is going to be an initiative of Temple Beth Tikvah, is holding auditions on Sunday, October 23rd. We really want a lot of kids, and it'll be really fun. And then also, just turn this off. I don't know why I do that. I'm so weird. And then just tonight, if you're so inclined, I Marcia Tilchin, am president of the Orange County Interfaith Network. Steve Sherman, who many of you know, is my secretary. Work very closely together, my treasurer, I mean. And OCIN is having its big kickoff event tonight, actually, from 5 to 7. And there's going to be a panel of a number of different people who work, who are organizations who help refugees in our community, but these are faith-based organizations. There's a Jewish organization, a Christian organization, a Muslim organization. You'll get to see what they're doing and sort of what brings us together in a higher purpose as an interfaith community. But take this flyer. Please just show up. We'd love to have you. And I just want to say, if you love to play pickleball, you can take a pickleball flyer. This is going to be in December, and we're looking to. This is the Collaborative's big community party. 3 years ago, we did Woodstock. We celebrated Woodstock's 50th anniversary, and any money that we raise goes back into the community, the greater community. And so we'd love to have you join us. And with that, we're going to have a closing song. The choice of our beautiful cantor. What's it going to be?
Found Achat Sha'alti in our Siddur.
Yeah, it's there.
Yeah.
So everybody turn to page
662. Achat Sha'alti me'et Adonai Ota avakesh. Achat sha'alti me'et Adonai Ota avakesh. Shivti beveit Adonai kol yamei chayai. Lachazot benoam Adonai uvaker behechalot. Lachazot benoam Adonai uvaker behechalot.
This is so perfect for Sukkot. One thing I ask of Adonai, only this do I seek, to live in the house of Adonai all the days of my life, to gaze upon the beauty of Adonai, and to frequent God's sanctuary. May this set you all off into have a beautiful Sukkot holiday, a wonderful Shabbos, and thank you for being with us this morning. Shabbat Shalom to everybody on Zoom.
Shabbat Shalom.
Sha'alti beit Adonai Ota avakesh. Achat sha'alti beit Adonai Ota avakesh. Ay 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 shivti beit Adonai kol yemei chayai. Lachazot benoam Adonai uvaker behechalot. Sorry about that. Lachazot benoam Adonai uvaker behechalot.
Shabbat Shalom,
Shalom.
everyone. Yeah, it's okay. Happens.
Who's not a member? Oh, I didn't acknowledge you. That was terrible. Thank you to Evan for his beautiful piano playing. Okay, but still.
Miles, did we I didn't see us go dark yet.